Okay, so here we are with Cruel Necessity, and we've just entered the second deck, which I put as the second Civil War. It's more, I don't know, the Civil War, to me, is something of a singular event with stages in it, but however you want to look at it. So, we're supposed to count up our points here. And this is kind of not going to be pleasant. So, red points go negative, blue points go positive, and here we have a -1 straight up. You can see here, if we had the Irish back here, we'd get a point. Likewise here, we get a point for having driven them back this far. So we're at 0, +1, +2, +3, +2, because of that deviltry, +3 for where the army is, +2. Hey, that sounds pretty good so far, right? That puts us down to 0. And those are the happy charts. -2, -6, -9. We didn't get any of those. We're at -9 total. -9 puts us on the worst table. So we'll get a devilry chip. And this one isn't associated with a card. Well, it's associated with this card, but it's not associated with a card that's a historical event or anything, so I can put it wherever I like. And now we flip this card over and we take effect here. There's the new model army created. This is good for us. We're going to be gaining a couple musket and pike units that are quite potent, 5-pointers. At this point, we're really regretting having lost the Ironsides battalion there, or regiment. It's just a battalion for Cav. Between the 4 main units, forget this one, it's not that impressive, but it does help you mitigate. You don't get any really bad results. You know, you get rid of the chance of a bad result for that one. Cromwell's army can be quite potent. I think it's still going to be quite potent, but we haven't cleared out much in the way of, or anything in the way of the royalist ones, and we lost one of our own good ones. Meanwhile, we have some actions going on here. The Irish march forward, and the Army of the North marches forward. Secret negotiations, the monarchy. We get a plus on dealing with that. And we get a plus on dealing with Parliament, in which this is the card. We can swap one of these achievements for one that we've already discarded. I'll take a quick look and see if I want to do that. But that should be helpful at getting Parliament out of the dumpster. That special advantage, being able to swap one. I thought about taking the Committee on Both Kingdoms. That's the only one that I feel is at all within reach. It's got some reasonable ratings here. It's worth a lot of points, allows me to hit Scotland 3 times. I'm doing okay against Scotland. Parliament isn't far. Monarchy would be a hard push, but we could get up there perhaps eventually. But the question is, what do I want to get rid of in that case? This one, definitely not. This one gives me a bonus. This one's probably the most reachable of my pile, so I don't really want to get rid of any of these. I don't know if I can get this one, but I like the other ones, and this one's got a high zeal cost. I'm going to just hold off. We're not too worried about trying to actually win. We just want to see if we can survive. That one would be neat to get, but this is my big goal, if I can get up there. So now I have 6 points of zeal and a lot of things I can do. And in particular, I got some things I really would like to do. So I'm going to start off trying to get Parliament back up. And with a 2, I can do so. That means I'm allowed to fortify London again. I gotta look at my armies, see what's really worrisome. I'm gonna spend a zeal to try to get the monarchy up. That wasn't helpful, but I'll try again. Sometimes you just feel like you're throwing your points away. Alright, we got rid of that, and that gets rid of the penalty on hitting the devilry tokens. I'd like to get this out of an F, to tell you the truth. Well, I've got a big bonus on it, so I'll just keep rolling on that. And we get that up as well. And that was the end of our turn there. At least we have 6. We didn't do anything about the armies. We didn't do anything about the devilry. But, you know, at least we got some of those tracks moving a little bit in the right direction. Alright, let's see if we can do another one of these. Uh-oh, it's battle time. This is the Battle of Kilsyth. Scottish Royalists in Montrose. In Edinburgh. Yeah, I'm sorry. They rout the Scottish Covenanter army. Now this is what's weird. I'm not allowed to fight the Scottish army on the board. I can't affect that. But this battle is a battle against the Scots army. Oh well. Which one am I more worried about? More willing to hit? I don't know. The West Army is going to move, so I'm going to go after that. And as usual, we set up. I'm going to spread my 5-pointers because I think that gives me the most chance for victory. I don't know. And I'll roll and randomize all the rest. Flip up the randoms. We get decent numbers there. Nothing too terrible there. Looks like it might be a good battle. With a chance of killing something. Alright, so this side looks pretty good. If I get the Cromwell advantage, I have a pretty good chance here. Here, I was going after the West. I'm going to spend 1 to increase the strength. We have no events here of one of these units. And now we fight it out. I don't know why I roll these out in front of you. Mainly, yeah, I'm not sure it's terribly exciting from your side of the thing, but we'll do Cromwell here. And he kicks butt. And here we're only at +1. Get a draw there. Over here we're at +3. Only a draw. Shit. And on the other side we should be at +2. And we get a victory there. Now this is kind of screwy, because if one of these was down in the defeat box, this would be a win. But as it stands, I believe it ends up as a draw. Let me make sure of that. The box with the majority of your units in it determines the battle's outcome. If there's a tie for the majority, the battle's outcome is a draw. Well, there's a tie here, but in this case, the simple majority would have gone to victory. Weird situation. Why? I don't know. But that's how the game works. So, we get away for free. Well, no. We spend another zeal. And we didn't get any advantage out of it. And now we get to look at the rest of the stuff, and the Scottish army moves, which means this one comes forward. The West army moves. Besiege or fortify Edinburgh twice. That cost me a zeal, apparently. Let me make sure it's any city and not just the English ones. Yeah. Puritanism is going to get a +1 on it. I have trouble reading the difference between Parliament and Puritanism because of the script on there. They're pretty counters, and I'm sure if you play it enough you get used to it. And a Scottish Parliament is summoned for King Charles. Both Scotland and monarchy go down from this. And there goes my advantage at trying to deal with those devilry ones. This is why you can't, do something by half measures. And now I've got problems where I've got 2 armies in position to siege me. I'm going to end up ignoring my Puritanism chip there. And, geez, I don't know. I guess I'll start beating on the armies again. I'll beat on the Western Army. No, beat on it again. Actually, I'm going to go for the Northern Army. I'm more worried about losing Hull. No, beat on it again. At least I shove it back. I lose this. We're back up to 6. And I've got some unit counters to... Alright, well, let's move on. New card time. As usual, most cards are going to be more negative than positive, but this at least has some positive on it. What is this? Cromwell invades Scotland. And, see, this gives an advance by Scotland with a -1 strength. What does the advance do? Well, it helps force you to try to follow the event, right? The -1 strength gives you the real reason that you're going to chase the event, but also by giving some additional pressure, if there's anything that you want to stop the Scottish army from doing, the fact that it's going to get an extra action can help convince you. We're going to get an action by them, which pushes the North Army, which unfortunately means I have to deal with that. And then the West ×2, ouch. That's over here. Let's conduct those sieges real quick. Got 1 success. Still enough room to capture it. Doot, flip. And we just lost Bristol. So we got some serious problems this turn already. And to add to that, we have unrest in London, which reflects itself as sieges of London. That's 1 success. That's good enough. Again, it doesn't flip it, but it costs us a zeal. Puritanism is going to get a +1 to the die roll. Yeah, lots of opportunities that we'd like to take care of here. They urge Cromwell to use the army to crush the allies of Satan. And then Parliament becomes factious over ending the war, paying the army, and unrest in London. Well, it doesn't feel like the war's ended here, which means this probably wouldn't be happening right now, right? Fears of a military coup are rampant. Parliament down 1. Basically, it's not really believable when Bristol's under siege, when Bristol's been captured, Hull's under siege, all of Scotland. Hey, you can live with that, but the other actions in here, yeah, that storyline doesn't fit anymore, and that's kind of the problem. The game doesn't divide into separate civil wars, really. It seems to just flow. Now, maybe if you get these beaten, it'll look more, well, certainly if you get them beaten, it'll look more. I don't know how likely that is, though. It's a tough game. All right, now I got 5 points and I got to deal with a lot of problems. My number 1 problem, Jesus. I kind of want to hit Scotland just because it's easy, But I need to get Bristol back or else my points are going to be low. I'm going to smack Scotland around though because it is easier. Yeah, no. That pushes them back one. Let's just keep hitting them. This is not going to go well though. But at least we cut impetus. Let's see. I had 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think I had the right number. This is sort of in opposition to all the other actions I've taken, but basically what I'm doing is buying myself some time from the Army of the North. When Scotland gets that much easier, I gotta go for it. But, you know, what have I done? I've like somehow sailed around or had some army cut off up here. I don't know. So in terms of any kind of connection between the events on the cards, what you can do, and what's on the board, it's all kind of tenuous. It really is. It's a game kind of set in this, in the events, but the events in the set and the game don't necessarily link well. All right, now I'm down to only 5 of these. And I missed this. So many things, you know, it's easy to forget what you might want to do. King Charles goes on trial. Yeah, we captured him. What? The Rum Parliament for high treason. Okay, first we get Ireland screwing us. Then we're going to get a Devilry. This is for card 43. Again, this doesn't really matter where you place them, but that's going to be, I think, Harlech, right? No. I don't know. We besiege or fortify Bristol and Hull. Well, Bristol can be fortified. Let's take care of the siege of Hull. I wonder what that represents. It just fell. And it's not going to go further. It was only a 1-point siege. Why? Yeah, there's no real indication of why these royalist actions are happening here. The trial throws all branches of Anglicanism into chaos. Puritanism goes down another one. And then monarchy, we get a +1 against. Yeah. I'd like to take advantage of that. Who knows if we're going to get the points to do it. And then we have a political reaction. Yay! Political reaction is monarchy and parliament, both going up because I've kept them down at the bottom of the stack. You know, again, there may be advantages to keeping things upward, but these cards convinced me, and they were a large part of what killed me. Is there a lot of these in the second deck, I think. These cards I certainly got a lot in the part that we played. These cards convinced me that I don't want to worry about the damn tracks. If you've got choices between things, deal with the military situation, because the tracks are just going to be wastes of points. Even if you succeed with them, you're going to lose to these. Okay. Now I got lots and lots of problems because I'm going to be down to only 4 points if I don't cope with things. First thing I want to cope with is Ireland. Trust me, I do not like having Ireland in that box. Alright, drove them back. That's good. Now, Bristol's tougher than Hull. I'm going to spend a point to attack the Army of the North. Hey, we knocked it back. Now I'm going to siege Hull. That worked. I've got a couple of points left. I could go to try to raise monarchy up to the sea level. That's an expensive action, though, comparatively. Otherwise, I'm kind of nice. I'm out of the Fs more than I usually am. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for some of this devilry while I'm up there. I'll go for this one because well, no, I'll go for this one because it looks like I've got the most control over that. Let's see. I get nothing. Let's go again. I get nothing. How fitting. But at least I'm up to 5. Now, I could have spent those points fortifying my territories and protecting myself, right? But nah, I wanted to go for the devilry because, well, the devilry can be very cool when you find it, when you defeat it. It's unlike most things, it's got an immediate bonus to doing something about. Most things you do in this game, other than control of the cities, don't. Hey, if I had gotten lucky, not with those die rolls, obviously, I could have shoved the West out of here. I couldn't have sieged Bristol, though. So what I probably should have done was fortify. But it looked like I had a pretty good chance at these, right? Let's do one more card, and I'll break for a while. Oh, no, it's a bonus. These are so depressing because it means I have to throw something out. Well, I don't really care too much about what this one is. It's which of these I'm going to have to get rid of. I can win battles. That sounds easier than getting this. And this one is the easiest of all. So I'll leave that one in place. But getting anything, you know, into the A-B range that I need to get these is almost impossible because of the strategy that I'm playing. It is quite possible to get these if you ignore the armies completely. With my wife and I, we did kind of a mixed strategy. All we managed to get was one of these, and that was very sad. It did not work. Charles, by the way, you won't last long if you ignore the armies. So Charles surrenders to Scottish Army of Covenanters. Oh, this should be a good one. Oh no, nearly everything's bad. So we got all these armies moving again. The Army of the West pushes on. Congregationalists declare divine right of kings as a heresy. And split with the Anglicans. Okay, great. Puritanism suffers. That would make sense if we were winning the war, right? The reason this happens historically is that once you have gotten through the emergency situation, the real danger situation, then there's more room for internecine conflict, but it doesn't make a lot of sense within that. And then Scotland gets itself a +1. Yeah, we're not going to deal with them this time. However, oh no, that's a +1 DRM on the Scotland, not on the army. And the army itself is disordered. Although it moved forward, it gets disordered. Because Montrose is defeated. So, that gives me a neat little option here with the Scotland. If I could weaken the Scottish army, that would be even more appealing. But I got a lot to do. I got real problems here. So the first real problem, always Ireland. Yeah. Let's see how many points we waste on it. You wouldn't think Ireland should be that important until you've won the Civil War, but yeah, you've got to. The thing is, the cards for Ireland mainly come in the second deck once, hey, you've already won the war, right? Yeah, except if you haven't already won the war, and it's hard to do, you've got these armies still moving and still doing stuff to you, sieging cities and everything. Now, I think they're supposed to represent, if you have done very well in that first deck, sort of the rebellions, etc., that were going on, small royalist revolts. But man, they press you hard. You don't have sort of an event that says I've defeated Charles that kind of changes the nature of the game or anything. You have cards that say Charles is going to trial, but you don't really, there's not something you have to do to trigger this deck. I guess that's part of what bugs me. It's just sort of this chronological mishmash. Now, that's not saying I don't enjoy the game. I think it's an interesting game, but it doesn't really give you a clear link to the story the way I was hoping. Now I got a couple more points. Now, what do I want to do with those points? I certainly don't want to screw with Scotland. That seems pointless. This is appealing, but not appealing enough to actually do. I've got to worry about this army here, and I've got to worry about the potential of fortifying things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my points fortifying Oxford and Hull. And call it there. That drives me back up to my 5. And I'll take a pause. Alright, let's keep going. More problems coming, of course. This time, the Ireland is getting a +1 on it. I may want to leave it alone. The problem is this is a period when Ireland's doing a lot here. This is summer of unrest in London. We're going to get, that's an uprising somewhere in the north. In Area 2, we can't campaign until we get that out of the way, which is an issue. We also can't fortify in that area. I think that includes Oxford, by the way, just because it does connect to it. And we get a bonus unrest in London. Joy. It looks like a hit, so we lose a point of zeal. Levelers and independents protest and organize in London. The new model army occupies London and drives the Presbyterian 11 members from Parliament. It's a religious reaction. Catholicism's in the C area, but Puritanism gets to go up. Always a bonus to keep your numbers low. You know, obviously, you want to get these suckers, but I can't figure out how to survive, so keeping those just out seems reasonable. Cromwell offers heads of proposals to King Charles, who rejects them. That's going to give us a penalty to playing with monarchy. That's no big deal, right? A penalty on dealing with something that's not collapsing you is okay. This penalty is much more threatening. But I'm going to... I'm going to kick off the uprising, I guess. That seems like a good choice to get rid of. Yeah, well, I'm going to waste some dice on it. As with all things. Yay. I don't get anything out of that. I would have liked to have cleared the Western Army out of there, but such is life. We're back up to 5, and my leg's hurting me, so I'm going to have to stop again. The nice thing about taking my time in playing something like this, you know, normally this could be, I could have gotten this done in one day very easily, but comments come in, and some criticism of my naive strategy came to play, which was, I don't have to push these armies as hard as maybe I have been in some cases. Obviously, I have to do a better job here. Maybe to worry more about when I can fortify and then let them bang themselves against the fortifications. Why that's important valuable, whatever, is one of my attacks kicks one of their actions, right? If it's successful. But my chance of success is only 1/3. So on average, it's going to take me, I don't know, trying to remember what, the guy had done the math on it, I guess. I remember something about 5 attacks to cancel out 3, maybe 5 zeal to cancel out 3. 3 of those attacks is the best you can do here. But his argument was that 3, so if you upgrade to level 3 on the fortifications, that's the highest. Actually, it can go up to 4. So his argument was because of the odds of those failing, etc., 3 zeal to fortify at 3 levels is gonna, decrease that that army's activities on average by about 3 activities as well. Because yes, they could get 6 successful sieges, but they could also get, none, right? And that's a better payoff than if you attack the armies directly. The problem I have with that is this risk. I'm very risk averse. So the risk that you miscalculate and, hey, that fortress can fall all at once from the very top. On, let me see on what. If it's, well, these fortresses are only 3s. I think only Oxford is a 4. Okay. So you're not going to get 50-50 across the board on those. However, if you can chase them out and keep refortifying. I'm pretty happy, trying to do things the way I'm doing. There's never enough points, so I end up letting the armies hit the forts to some extent anyway. Anyhow, let's pull another card. But obviously I'm not very good at this. The Battle of Preston. The New Model Army kicks ass. I'm paraphrasing. Scotland is... Okay, so first we have the battle to take care of. And again, an opportunity, but painful. I'm going to use all my stuff. Painful without Ironsides. That hurt losing that. To the flip, I got an event. High ground, retain this card. I'm able to rearrange my musket and pike as I desire when I wish for a battle. Now, right now I'm at -1 here, but I got Cromwell on that side. And I'm at even here, so I don't really see too much advantage to it. To win this battle, I feel like I need to spend a zeal. And I should have picked which army I was going to hit. I need to push these suckers back. So we're going to pick the Army of the West. I guess I'll need it here. It's most important to win the musket and pike part of the battle. But the odds don't look good, given my die rolls especially. All right, let's start it off. And I go through every action in this game pretty much for the simple reason that I don't know how to portray it any other way. It is a game. It's not something that I can really step back and talk about the broad strokes very well. I mean, I guess I could say, yeah, it looks like another bad turn. We didn't move very far. I don't think that would be interesting. I'm not sure that this is terribly interesting to watch, but it's... I don't know. All right, well, Cromwell wins his battle. And now we go to the... This is a draw. 10 to 8 gives us a +2. Another victory. Now notice nothing's going in the dead pile here because there aren't any. And here I'm 10 to 9. I got a +1. Gives me a chance at just a draw. Unfortunately, I did it again. I would have been better off losing that battle. This last one, because then I would have won the battle as a whole, but instead, it was a close run thing. And that kind of, I don't know if it terribly bothers me in terms of like some sort of simulation side or whatever, but it kind of irks me in terms of, God damn it, you know, I try my best and I do too well, it turns out. You know, not well enough that there's no issue at all, but just too well, you know, in one roll. If I lost one of those rolls, I would have been better off. Scotland reorganizes their army. Oh, I lose a zeal for the draw. The Western Army is marching into Oxford, or into range of Oxford, so now that's a threat. Crapolas, right? Now we're going to get a die roll modifier on the Scotland table. How much does that help us? Well, not much. And Parliament attempts the Treaty of Newport with King Charles, who rejects it utterly. So we lose a Parliament space. Now what? I don't have a lot of points. I got armies everywhere attacking me. I got to deal with the Irish. Isn't that what I did my whole last turn doing? Alright, at least I shove them back. I'm going to take a chance on devil. See, here's the thing. I want to take a chance on devilry because, hey, maybe it'll save my ass from this dangerous situation. But I think I can still fight my way out. All right, let's hit the Western Army. Nope. Let's hit it again. Nope. I got some cleanup to do from the battle. All right, let's squeeze another turn through. Taking our time here. The Interregnum. What's this? Puritan views were imposed on the rest of the country, in particular an austere lifestyle, avoiding the excesses of the past. Well, this one has to stay. It's what I want to get rid of. And monarchy looks like it may be the hardest one. Now, this one's got a nice ability. It gets rid of one of the combat cards, the Leveler Mutinies, which could have been which could be a problem. But again, I'm having no real effort, or I'm putting no real effort on the tracks, so I think I'm not going to be able to get those. I thought maybe if I got myself into a stronger position at the beginning of the Second Civil War, I would be able to start concentrating on these. When my wife and I played, we walked into the Second Civil War in a lot of trouble, but it looks like it's just trouble anyhow, right? There's a lot to do to protect yourself. So we keep drawing. And King Charles escapes to the Isle of Wight. He easily escapes his very posh confinement. He has a 5-hour head start. And then we try to recapture them, and lots of armies are acting here. Scotland, hey, I pushed it back far enough that it's not immediately a north action. And the Army of the West is going to start sieging Oxford here. With one success. Let's see about the other one. Yeah, and now Oxford's nearly ready to fall. I lose a zeal point from the card. I get more bad things. A faction of Covenanters signs a secret treaty with Charles. Scotland and the monarchy go down. And then I can disorder any royalist army unit. Alright. As far as I'm concerned, this is my biggest problem. I probably want to hit Scotland, or Ireland. Jeez, you know, there's just so many problems. But I gotta clear him out of here. So I'm gonna disorder him. Why is that? Winter reigns, the weather determines if armies could fight. And they're unusable right now. Alright, I'm gonna spend another one dropping a zeal on there so that I have an even better chance. And now I've got 2 Fs, so things are unpleasant. Now I make my attack. Having them disordered is really cool because I can shove them back fairly easily. I'd like to get them behind Bristol here. Maybe I'll get lucky and they won't move next turn. It's actually fairly likely that they won't move because if they get only 1 action, they'll rally from their disorganization, and that'll buy me some time. Of course, I've got this problem sitting here. So we're back up to 5. Maybe we'll be able to get Bristol back, and then we can fortify Bristol and Hull. Yeah, it's a lot to hope for, right? Yeah, let's see what we draw. Oh boy, it looks like lots of things are moving. Pride's Purge. Frustrated by infighting within the Commons, Cromwell orders Colonel Pride to arrest members of Parliament that do not support the Grandees. So we have Ireland, and we get screwed by Ireland. Scotland becomes an F. And this kicks over here, getting ready to send Parliament down there. Hey, but Cromwell removes the non-Puritan MPs, reducing its size from 500 to 200 members into the rump. And this is a religious reaction event, which means we get bonused on Puritanism at least. Catholicism's too high to get the bonus points. And then I'm allowed to reduce a parliamentary fortress. I'm not sure what that means. And Parliament, they reduce any one parliamentary fortress. I think it's just drop at 1 level. And Parliament's going to get a -1. A general breakdown of law and order, the rioters denying religious motivations, saying simply that they're for the king and would not be governed by a few rioters, by a few Puritans. So Parliament's going to get a -1 on it, which means I'm not going to try to save that this turn. I got other things I might want to fix. And now I got to give up 1 level in one of my forts. Well, I'll give up Hull because that way I don't have to siege it. I would hate to actually lose something. Oh, we didn't do all these armies, did we? The north moved. Oh, jeez. But now Hull's in danger and Scotland moved. Yeah, I forgot about those. Okay. Wow. I got things to do. I want to retake Bristol. That's my opening, because that's worth a zeal. Take it down 1. Take it down, and I capture it. That was 1, 2. What's my... let's hold on until I decide what I'm going to do. I think I definitely want to fortify Bristol 1. I want to knock the Irish back, though, because they are just a problem. Oh, crap. And now I have to decide, do I want to up, one of these things? Because things could get really bad if I don't. I want to hit the Irish again. They're just too dangerous. No help there. At least my marker goes away there. And we'll come back with another turn a little and to keep going. Parliament passes self-denying ordinance. Yeah, I wish. Self-denying ordinance forbids the MPs from serving in the army with 4 exceptions, including Cromwell. The papal nuncio, this is unrelated, Rinuccini arrives in Ireland to help Irish Confederate Catholics in their war against English Protestant rule. Elsewhere, the Parliament besieges Wallingford Castle. We don't get a battle out of the siege. We get some actions here. North Scotland and West. Well, North, I wasn't able to do anything about them because I moved to the Irish, and now maybe they're going to take Hull. Looks like they do. I should be up at 6. The Scots drives the army down one. And now the army of the West recovers from its demoralization. The Pope and the Catholic League make preliminary moves to help the Irish Catholics. There are these things which are for the Catholic League, with or without the Spaniards. They're going to be additional strength that could apply. I don't remember to which army, but it's an option. There's a number of options covered on here. Let's see. They'll go into Ireland to make the Irish army much, much more difficult. That's an option that can be used along with a number of others to make the game harder for you. I'm not a big fan of the idea of making this any harder than it is. I would almost assume that would push it, even if you were at the top of your game, to a very, very difficult game where it would be almost impossible to win. And they historically didn't fully intervene. Ireland and Catholicism both go down. Catholicism and Ireland. And now the Irish army is tougher, and that's something that causes an additional problem. I got to move this before I start attacking the Irish to do anything good. The pioneers of London, from ladies down to oyster wenches, labored like pioneers in the trenches. And we get a bonus devilry for card 29, which goes over there for whatever reason. But we also get to fortify London. Now this is weird, because some of the cards here will be besiege or fortify, which is the royalists doing it, and some are your fortification effect. It's not always absolutely trivial to figure out what it is. It's probably clear in the rules, but I don't want to face them just to prove that point to myself or disprove it. It doesn't make too much difference in the end. I ended up cheating on one of these when I was playing with my wife, where we actually took one to our advantage that shouldn't have been. All right, well, now I got to figure out what to do with my points. And I got lots and lots of problems. First of all, the devilries aren't going to be easy to cope with anymore. I got 4 Fs. Oh, that's just hideous. All right, we're going to spend one on Ireland. If we can bump Ireland up, maybe we'll try to get them out of here, because that's just waiting to wreck us. Oh, good. All right, that gets rid of this strength marker. And now, do we worry about the others? Well, I'm going to club Ireland again. Crap. All right, now I got 3 points left. I've lost Hull in this process. I think I need to up some of these with fortifications, and that's what I'm going to spend on. I spend 2 in Bristol and 1 in Oxford, I guess. Actually, I'll spend 2 in Oxford and 1 in Bristol. That helps me a little bit, but you know, now I'm out of everything. I'm 1 thing away from losing. I was at the losing point this turn, so I had to do something about that. Let's see what our next draw is. Oh, and now we're down to 5 zeal. All right, the next one. O'Neill's Ulster army defeats parliamentary forces. That sounds terrible. And it looks pretty bad. At the Battle of Benburb, the Irish Catholic troops defeat the Parliamentaries under Robert Monroe and advance towards Dublin. No, they're way past Dublin. Elsewhere, Royalists attempt to secure the Midlands. So, we get a +1 strength on the Irish army, which is kind of the, yeah, you don't want to mess with it. It's going to get 2 hits. 1, 2. I besiege or fortify Dublin. Well, apparently that costs us a zeal at this point, because we don't have, it can't be besieged, it can't be fortified. We get a devilry in 34. Look at all these negatives piling up here. That's got to be up here somewhere. Jeez, I don't know where it is. This doesn't really matter. I shouldn't be trying to find it particularly. I don't know. I don't see it. There it is. And we get an unrest in London, which is like a siege. They succeed once. They succeed twice, which means we lose a zeal. The papal nuncio appoints Supreme Council to govern Ireland in an effort to keep, to help the king, but mostly to secure free exercise of Catholic religion. So Ireland and Catholicism both go down. Well, we are in real trouble here. We got 5 of them at F's. And finally, Parliament passes an ordinance to the abolition of archbishops in England. We get a +1 die roll on Parliament. And that helps a little bit. All right, so we're screwed. I mean, badly. I missed this. We got another +1 on the Irish army. Crap. Well, to me, the obvious, let's go for the easy one on Parliament. And we get that out of the way. We still haven't won yet, or haven't avoided losing yet. So Scotland. That's the next easiest. All right. Now we're not losing the game automatically. And now the question comes, well, what do you do now? Do we spend a point on the fortification, or do we spend an attempt here? I'm going to go with fortification. I'll fortify Oxford, because both armies can get there. But, you know, it's just, when it gets to this point, you're pretty much looking at, uh-oh, I'm going down. And I'm still at 5 of these. I think there are enough cards in here that I don't want to keep going with this video. I'm going to load this one up. We'll finish the rest of this era in probably another short video, or shorter video.